Alright. Hello dear my students. Now, up to now, I have just completed point number 3, but I told you I will take another video for describing figure of speech. So, this video I have taken for poetic devices. I hope you are fine at home and I hope you are enjoying while watching videos. So today I am going to discuss poetic devices. Poetic devices, it means figures of speech. What is the meaning of poetic devices? Poetic devices, it means figures of speech. You know, general in English there are 26 figure of speech. How many figure of speech are there? 26 figure of speech are there in English. So, day by day when we just complete poems, I will explain in each poem how many figure of speech are included and which are left. I will repeat again and again. Now, in exam, we will have 2 marks for figure of speech. But don't consider 2 marks. Think that 2 marks when you just include, there will be so many marks, right? So don't take it for granted that 2 marks let me not prepare, right? You need to prepare. Let's start. This I have taken for poem number 3, a tiger in the zoo, right? So let me start with the first line, first figure of speech. See, he stalks in his vivid stripes. Let me read again. He stalks in his vivid stripes. Now, before you just take it out, which figure of speech possible, you need to understand the meaning of the line. You need to understand the meaning of the line. See, what is the meaning of stalks? When I explained the poem, I told you, stalks means follow, right? Stalks means follow. So, and stripes means you know, tigers have stripes on his body, black color, right? So, see, first figure of speech that we have in this line, that is personification. That is personification. Let me explain first what is the meaning of personification. Now, personification, it means when non-living animals or any non-living things or animals are giving human action. Let me repeat. When non-living things and animals are given human action that we do, right? That we do, that is called personification. Non-living things cannot move, non-living things cannot write, cannot read, cannot speak. So, if they are shown that they are doing activity like human beings and it is shown in the line, that is called personification. So, in this line, stripes. In this line, stripes. So, he means tiger. He means tiger. So, tiger follows. What is the meaning of stalks? Follows. Tiger follows his stripes. Is it possible when tiger moves, can he follow his stripes like us? When we are walking, you know, we are following our shadow sometimes for funny things, for laughing. So, human beings can do, but tiger cannot follow his stripes. So, this is called personification. Tiger cannot follow his stripes like human being, that we follow our shadow, not possible for the tiger, right? So, this is personification, right? Understood? Why personification? Tiger does the activity like human being, cannot be possible for him. That's why, right? Now, second figure of speech that we have in the same line, that is alliteration. That is alliteration. Now, Why I am giving you in the same line 2, 3 figure of speech? Because we don't know that this option will be given or this option will be given in the exam. So whichever option will be given, that will be your right answer. You need to remember, right? Why alliteration? Do you remember in a first and second poem I have discussed the meaning of alliteration? Anybody remembers? Alright. Alliteration, it means any consonant sound. And let me repeat. Keep in mind, I am not talking about vowel. Any consonant sound repeated twice or any consonant letter repeated twice or more than twice, that is called alliteration. Any consonant letter or sound repeats in the same line twice or more than twice, that is called alliteration, right? So let's see the same line. He talks in his vivid styles. Can you see any consonant letter that is repeated twice or more than twice? Let's see. See. ST, ST. See. Stalks, stripes. So ST sound or ST consonant letter both are repeated twice, right? So this is alliteration because ST sound is repeated twice. ST sound repeated twice. So this is called alliteration. This is called alliteration. Now, see, figure of speech, so many students are confused, right? They are not able to recognize. So, if you remember, if you know the meaning of the line, if you know the definition of figure of speech, then no problem at all. You can easily recognize that which figure of speech in which particular line. Let's see third. See, one line, three figure of speech. One line, three figure of speech. Let's see third one, that is synecdoche. Sometimes when you see in Google, pronunciation is synecdoche. What is the pronunciation? Synecdoche. But it looks awkward, so that's why I am speaking synecdoche. What is that? Synecdoche, right? So in this line, how synecdoche is possible? In this line, how synecdoche is possible? Let me tell you. Synecdoche means as a whole part. Synecdoche means as a whole part. For example, if I am talking about the students of the class, so I can say 10th A students. It means 10th A, not only one students, all the students of 10th A. It means I am talking about whole part. I am talking about whole part. So let's see. How can you recognize synecdoche or synecdoche? If particular word is used to describe whole thing. Particular word is used to describe whole thing, that is called synecdoche. So let's see in this line which word is there that describes everything. He stalks in his vivid stripes. See, stripes, right? So here he means who? Tiger. He means who? Tiger. So here in this line, the stripes of not only one tiger. Generally you know that when you see any tiger, he has stripes. It doesn't mean another tiger that they do not have stripes. All the tigers have stripes, right? So here tiger. Stripes shows the word tiger as a whole in the whole world. So that's why this line also shows synecdoche or synecdoche, right? Generally you speak synecdoche. Don't go for donkey. It looks very awkward. So synecdoche. See, one line I have explained. He stops in his vivid stripes. We have personification, we have synecdoche, and we have alliteration. See my dear students, this is not for particular exam. You need to remember when you speak now. Every grammar topics are useful when you speak, when you pronounce, when you talk with someone. So, this is about first line. He stops in his vivid stripes. Personification, alliteration, synecdoche. Let's go for second line that we have. Alright. We have just understood the first line in that three figure of speech. Now, second one. On pairs of velvet white. See the second line. On pairs of velvet white. So see, here we have first figure of speech, that is metaphor. Here we have first figure of speech, that is metaphor. Let me tell you first definition and how it is interconnected with this line. See, metaphor, it means when there is comparison between two things. Metaphor, it means when there is comparison between two things. But most important, without using these two words, so and like. See, we need to remember without using these two words, so and like, if there is comparison between two things, that is called metaphor. What is that called? Metaphor. So, here, what is the meaning of pairs, my dear students? What did I tell you when I explained the poem? Pairs means pose of the writer. Pairs means pose of the writer. So, indirectly, pairs of the writer is compared to velvet, right? Velvet, a smooth material, you know, we have in the form of cloth, right? So, pose of the writer, pairs of the tiger, sorry not writer, tiger, pose of the tiger is compared indirectly to velvet, the soft material of the cloth, right? So, this is metaphor. We have not used so, we have not used like. These two words we have not used to show comparison between pose of the tiger and velvet of the cloth, right? So, this is called metaphor. Second figure of speech, transferred epithet. Transferred epithet. See, second figure of speech we have transferred epithet. Transferred epithet. Now, let me explain what is the meaning of transferred epithet. Transferred epithet means, generally, what is the meaning of transfer? Something that we are transferring, putting from one place to another place. What is the meaning of transfer? We put from one place to another place, right? So, here, what can you transfer? Here, what can you transfer? Adjective. We can transfer adjective, verb and noun. What can you transfer? Adjective, verb and noun. So see, if particular line is given, you need to check it out. Adjective in a proper place, verb in a proper place or not, or noun in a proper place or not. See, if these three, any one out of three, not given in a proper place, then if not given a proper place, then we need to check it out. that adjective, verb and noun, they are shifted. They are transferred from one place to another place from their actual place. See the line. On pairs of velvet white. Here, velvet, that a writer does not talk about, that velvet is white. What is white? Pairs of the tiger. Paws of the tiger, they are white. So see, where is the adjective? White. Where is the adjective? White. So white word should not be with velvet. White is an adjective. Adjective, verb and noun, they should be with proper word. So adjective is white and white should not be with velvet. White should be with pairs, right? Because it is white is related to pose of the tiger in this particular line. So this is transferred FET because white adjective is transferred from its actual place. What I am saying? White particular adjective is transferred from its actual place to another place. Don't worry, I have given the definition and how it is interconnected, the meaning in the worksheet. So you can read whenever you forget, right? So on pairs of velvet white, it is metaphor, it is transferred FET, right? This figure of speech in all the poem will be repeated. So again I will explain with another new line. So I am sure you will be prepared till board exam, right? See next. Third number I have written here. He should be lurking in shadow. He should be lurking in shadow. So here see. He should be lurking in shadow. Just think. Whichever I have completed, that is here. Think on your own. Which figure of speech can be possible? Have you thought? Speak on your own. Do you know? Alright. Which alliteration? Which alliteration that I have completed? Any consonant sound, any consonant letter is repeated twice or more than twice. So here, check it out in the whole line. But my dear students, keep in mind only consonant, not vowel. Only consonant sound or letter, not vowel. So here see, SH and SH. These two letters are repeated twice. SH and SH. These two letters are repeated twice. So this is alliteration. This is alliteration, right? So up to now we have completed first line, second line, third line. In this line only alliteration. Second figure of speech is not valid, right? So we will not take. Let's take fourth number that we have. Let me just take fourth number that we have in which poem? A tiger in the zoo, right? So let's take the fourth number line. Fourth number figure of speech is, that is, where plum deer bath. This is very easy, like the third one. This is very easy, like the third one, because here also you can easily recognize where plum deer pass. Which figure of speech, my dear students? Which alliteration? Why? P sound or consonant letter is repeated twice. P sound or consonant letter is repeated twice. So I will not explain that much because you know I have explained before where plum deer pass. P consonant letter is repeated twice in the same line. That's why alliteration. That's why alliteration. Now see next. Next one is terrorizing the village. Next one is terrorizing the village. See, one simple line includes 2-3 words. One simple line includes 2-3 words. So this is, see, when I complete all the poems, we will have revision and I will call you on the stage to recognize which figure of speech. You need to explain definition. You need to explain why definition is related to that particular line, right? No problem. Slowly and gradually you will learn, right? So see, terrorizing the village. One line very short, village. We will focus on village. See, generally village can move here and there. Village can talk. No. So, how tiger can make them fear to village? Possible? So, what should be the answer? Villagers. Terrorizing the village means tiger is terrorizing not village to villagers. Not village but villagers. So this word shows whole part. This word shows whole part. So if one particular word shows whole part, which figure of speech? Synecdoche. Which figure of speech? Synecdoche or synecdoche, right? So one particular word talks about whole part, not village, but all the people of the village. It means villagers. Village means the people of all the village, of that village means villagers. So as a whole, one word talks about whole part, that is called synecdoche. What is that called? Synecdoche. So we have completed up to now 5. 3 are left or 4 are left because see, in each poem we will have 7 or 8 figure of speech. In each poem we will have 7 or 8 figure of speech. Maybe some will be repeated, some will be new, some will be different. So you need to remember. Let's have a look the next number. We have come 6 number. I hope you are enjoying while learning. So let's see 6 number that we have come. Let's write. 6 number, let's write. Let me just rub and let me write 6 number. Alright. Up to now we have completed 5th number. So this is 6th number. See, he should be snaring around houses. He should be snaring around houses. See, here we have new figure of speech called onomatopoeia. See the pronunciation. Here we have next figure of speech onomatopoeia, right? So let me write first, then I will explain. Onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia, right? So U-E-I-S. Difficult because if I write wrong, right? So onomatopoeia. Now the meaning of onomatopoeia, it means any particular word shows sound. Any particular word shows sound or echo of sound. See, any particular word shows sound. Any particular word shows echo of sound called onomatopoeia. What means? How can you recognize? Any particular word shows sound. any particular word shows echo of sound called onomatopoeia. So here we have seen which word shows sound? Snaring. Which word shows sound? Snaring. If you have paid attention when I explain the poem, maybe you remember. Snaring means tiger makes angry sound. Snaring means tiger makes angry sound. So here this word shows sound. This word shows sound. So keep in mind when you read the line, any word that shows sound or echo of sound, that is called snaring. That is called snaring, right? Or onomatopoeia. See, any particular word that shows the meaning of sound, we need to come to know onomatopoeia, that is the figure of speech, right? What to remember? Particular word in the whole line shows sound, nothing else. That is called onomatopoeia, right? Next, his strength behind bars. His strength behind bars. This is easy, so let me just tell you very fast. B, B. B letter consonant is repeated twice. B consonant letter is repeated twice. So this is alliteration. B consonant letter is repeated twice. So this is alliteration. This is alliteration, right? Next, see. And stares with his brilliant eyes. See, focus. And stares with his brilliant eyes and the brilliant stars. In the first poem, do you remember I talked about repetition? Do you remember now? Alright. So here, what is the meaning of repetition? Any particular word, letter not. Any particular word are repeated twice, that is called repetition. See, brilliant, brilliant. Whole word that is repeated twice or more than twice. Any particular word repeated twice or more than twice, that is called repetition. That is called repetition. So here which two words are repeated? Brilliant, brilliant. One word but repeated twice. So this is repetition plus alliteration. Repetition plus alliteration. See, which words or which consonant letters are repeated? See, S-T-A, S-T-A. Not one letter, not two letters, three letters are repeated. Stairs, see, S-T-A and stars, S-T-A. Means three letters are repeated more than twice or two times. So S-T-A here, there, S-T-A here, there. So this is alliteration. Do you understand now? No problem. In each poem we will have again and again. So I will explain all the time definition, how it is interconnected with that particular line. So no problem at all. We will have hope from simple to complex. Not directly from complex to simple, right? We will have simple to complex, right? So here in the 6th one onomatopoeia, in the 7th one alliteration, in the 8th number we have repetition and alliteration. Now last number is left. Let me write. Last number is left. Let me write. Let me just rub and let me write the last number. Then last number, let us write 9 number. The patrolling cars. The patrolling cars. See, last number, the patrolling cars. Here see, the answer should be transferred. Answer should be transferred epithet. What should be answer? Transferred epithet. Why? Because I told you any adjective, verb or noun. Any adjective, verb or noun if they are not in their actual place. What is the meaning of patrolling? Patrolling, it means to watch on somebody. Patrolling means to watch on somebody. So here you cannot watch on cars. So who does this duty? Police or army people. Who does this duty? To watch on someone, to patrol? Police or army people. So here patrolling is a verb. It is not suitable with cars. It should be words related to the police. So here actual place is transferred. Actual place is transferred of a verb. So that's why this is transferred FET. That's why this is transferred FET. Right? So in poem number 3, we have seen 9 figures of speech. In the next poem, I will discuss next, that whichever will be. I hope you have understood. Write lines in your notebook with definition, with explanation, and you will read again and again. Thank you.